So what we're going to concentrate on these first few introductory videos is how to navigate your way around the Fusion 360 workspace. And that's important to get an idea of the structure of Fusion 360, its layout, and also where you can find some of the things that you'll need when you start working on the project that you're going to take on. We're actually going to start that tour in the top left hand corner, and one of the first things to notice in Fusion 360 is if you allow the cursor or the mouse to be still over something, it actually brings up a description of what actually that particular feature will do. So in this case it's going to show the data panel, which is what we'll do in a couple of seconds time. But if I maybe move to the create menu and go to the loft command, loft is something that maybe people who are new to 3D design perhaps have never come across before. And if I just let the mouse be still over loft, then it brings up a couple of lines of description of what loft actually does, and in this case a really nice small illustration of loft being used in action. So this is a really useful tool in Fusion 360. It gives you the opportunity, especially if you're new to the software and you come across something that maybe you don't understand what it does or how it works, it will give you a bit of a prompt as to what it does and the way it works. So that's really a useful tool. So now if I click on the data panel area, this menu flies out from the left hand side. Now if you're using Fusion for the very first time, the chances are what you'll be seeing is something called My First Project, which is something that gets set up automatically when your account is created. So it gives you instant access to an area where you can actually start saving designs. So this is really useful, but if you click on the arrow at the left hand end where it says leave data details, then basically it takes you back to a directory that should have your name at the top of it, and this is what you might consider to be the root directory, and this is where all of your projects can actually be found. And it's also the place where you would raise a new project. So if you need to create a new project, then you click on the new project button, it creates a new project, and then you can create a title for it. Now what I would say is see projects as a collection of work, so don't raise a project for an individual design. Try to collect a number of individual designs under a project name. So generally you want multiple designs under a project rather than just a single design. So if I move down to a project that I've got, you can see the structure. So there's two parts to the data panel. There's the data side and the people side. I'm currently in the data side, and what you can see here is I've got a number of subfolders I've created. So you can actually create folders. So there's a new folder icon. Click on that. It will allow you to create a subfolder, and you can create subfolders for subfolders. Also, you'll see under these folders I've actually got some designs stored directly under this particular project. And if I right click on one of those designs, it actually gives me a menu of things I can do with it. So the very top one is open, so you can choose that from a right click action, or you can double click on that particular file, which in this case is called Torch. You'll see there's a thumbnail next to it, and now it's opened up that design in the workspace. One other thing to notice here, down in the bottom right hand corner, there is this icon which in this case says V2. This is indicating the version number of this particular design that's currently stored. If I click on V2, it expands a panel down that actually shows me all of the different versions I saved, who saved them, and at what time. So this is an entire history tree of that particular design. Each time it was saved, it date and time stamps it, and puts whoever saved that against it. So that's how basically you open up a design. One other thing to notice under the data side of things is this thing called upload. Upload allows you to basically bring in designs that have been created elsewhere. So maybe in another CAD program, maybe they're transferred out of another CAD program into a common file format that you can bring into Fusion. But upload allows you to bring them into Fusion and upload them into a project. So go to the project that you want to upload your design into, hit the upload button. It will just take you to a file browser piece of software that will actually allow you to look around on your hard drive where you've got a file stored, and then transition that up to the cloud and store it in this particular project area. So that's upload. So that's basically all there is to the data side of things. It's where your data's held, where all your designs are held, where you can upload new designs that have maybe been created from somewhere else, and also create a folder structure. On the other side of data, it says people, and people is where you can actually invite people in to collaborate on that particular project with you. Now, this works best for people who've got Fusion 360 accounts, but if you enter their email address into this top area here and then click invite, it will basically invite them to this particular project, and it will load their name underneath mine and show you that they're an active member of this particular project. They'll also get an email sent to them saying that they've been invited to a project. Now, once those people have been invited in, they've got the entire open access to any of these designs or subfolders within that particular project, and they can actually start working on them. They can create new designs and save them into that project. They can modify files that are already there, and really that's a great collaborative tool within Fusion 360 for you to be able to work as a team. So that's basically the introduction to the data panel. It's where your data is held and where you invite people to collaborate with your particular project. It's always a good idea, once you finish with the data panel, you've found the design that you want and opened it up, basically to close that down using the close data panel X there, because it does tend to take up quite a portion of the screen, and really you want to maximize your working space in Fusion 360. So once you finish with the data panel, close it down, and then we can start looking at the rest of the workspace now we've got a design that's open.